What's up, everyone, and welcome back to Fiction Tea Reviews. So today we're going to talk about Love Country episode 3, Holy Ghost. So we have this opening scene, which I believe is paying homage to the title of the Holy Ghost, because we have all these people and they're in the church and they're dancing. Letitia, she's sitting down pretty much watching it, and I'm assuming they got the Holy Ghost inside them. That kind of sets the tone for this entire episode. The Holy Ghost with the ghosts and the spirit that we find out are inside of the basement. Once we get to the next scene, we find out that everyone is kind of back to normalcy. They are not in that place anymore, that they're not at that mansion anymore. They're all back home, and Letitia decided to buy her and her sister a home, and Atticus is at Uncle Ben's house with his family, with his wife and his daughter, kind of taking his place in a way. Cooking breakfast, helping out, paying things to help out, because you know they're all going through his loss, his recent loss, his death, and you see how it affects everyone. How the wife, she was kind of holding it all in. You could see how tense she was and how stressed she was, and how she was just holding on to all of that pain, and she's ripping the pages out of his favorite book, his Dracula book. And she had took one of the mugs and like turned it around to the other side, because that's what her husband used to do. You can see how it's affected everyone, and how the daughter, she was setting the table and she put down, the daughter was setting the table and she's putting down like all of the utensils, and she put down too many because she's thinking about her dad. You can see how it's affecting all the characters. In this episode, you could also see the lack of connection that a lot of the characters have. Like Atticus and his dad, for example, they didn't really have a connection. His dad, from what we found out, is basically this like alcoholic, and his kind of get into it at the dinner table, and the dad like bangs on the table, and Atticus jumps up like what like Atticus jumps up in like a very tense way. His hands are balled up, and he seems ready to fight. I don't know, as if this has happened before, or like because he doesn't have a strong relationship with his father, he just ready to beat him up at this point, and he's just over it. But Atticus jumped up like, what's up, like, what's up, I'm ready for whatever you about to do. We also had Letitia and her sister. You could see they didn't really have a connection. There is a sense of a strong dislike between those two characters. Those mild creepy moments with that like creepy hand that was like grabbing the covers that had no body. Then you had the creepy lady that was like at the bed that looked like she had a gunshot wound to her face. It was crazy. And it jumps to the scene where Atticus is like super jealous of Letitia dancing on this guy, and everything's in slow motion, and she's like all seductive, kind of like luring him in, and he's super jealous and angry, just standing there looking like he just ready to go up there and snatch her out of his hands. And I'm just like, okay, you did pull away when she tried to thank you and touched your hand, and now you're jealous because you see her with someone else? Come on, Atticus, get it together. And then they got it together up in that bathroom, and it was really like kind of like, oh, Atticus was her first. They get to the scene with everyone, and the sister makes this comment about, well, more colored people need to think like me, and basically she thinks, you know, as long as you work hard, you can pretty much make it in this world. You can get anything you want. And yeah, you can work hard, but white, you have privilege, therefore it does push you further. And she's just tried to make it seem like, you know, if you work hard, you'll get there, but it's a lot more to it besides just that. Of course you can become successful, but there are colored people who work twice as hard, 10 times as hard as white people, and still cannot even get half or a third of what they have. My point is actually proven with that when they show up with a burning cross on the lawn, And I found it interesting that the threat was a burning cross, which is the representation of a god, a deity. And I'm just like, that's interesting. That what people worship is supposed to also represent hate. Like that dynamic right there, super interesting. This was a prime example of them minding their business, having their party. These white people, they were jealous of them coming to wreak havoc and coming to like mess up the party for what? And I'm just like, y'all are just jealous because y'all wasn't invited to the party. Like, why are y'all here? You know? It showed that even when you mind your business, like the sister was saying, she was saying like, you know, if you work hard, you'll get there. But even when you do work hard, or even when you're minding your business, that doesn't mean a dang thing. Because of that jealousy. Then Letitia got fed up. And I was like, isn't there a saying about a black woman scorned? Because she was fed up. She bust out all their windows. She was just completely over it. And when she got fed up, Atticus was right there by her side. And he was like, yo, get the shotgun. Because he knew, like, once she get fed up, we rotten for her. Like, it's on. Like, it's on like popcorn. I'm just like, yes. It gets to the scene where Letitia, she ends up getting arrested. And the police officer who arrests her, he says something about... What group are you a part of? Are you a part of the monkeys? Are you a part of the roaches? And I'm just like, I would have hit him with the, first off, monkeys are smarter than humans. Second off, roaches cannot be killed. So you're saying I'm immortal? Honestly, it's the dry, played out insults for me. If you're gonna insult me, at least come up with something good. Like, low quality insults. Because me, I would have had insults for days. But, like, that's it? That's all you got? That's all you can say? And I'm going to talk about the parts that I like. I love when that guy on the elevator got his head chopped off. I was like, and all the rest of the guys got killed. And I'm just like, that's what you get for trespassing. Y'all got what y'all deserved. I love like that close to the end part where Letitia and all the spirits stood together chanting and getting rid of that scientist who had experimented on those souls. I love that part. I love the unity that when they all came together. I loved how they all regained strength and was able to morph back to their human self through the strength of each other and the strength of their numbers, basically. Lastly, one thing I really thought about when I saw, especially when I saw the black woman who was like a reporter and she was taking pictures of Letitia and like interviewing her, I thought about like how even though through all the pain, all the hate, all the jealousy, all the racism, all the discrimination, all the torture, all the violence, all the terrorism, because that's what it is, all that being done to black people during that time, during real life times, like just in general, especially in relation to this show, all of that happening and black people still striving and still trying to make something of themselves. Even during that time when they were doing stuff like that, there still was black people, black women trying to make something of themselves, black people trying to make something of themselves, to all the stripes and all the odds against them. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and comment below. Let me know what your thoughts about this episode. What did you like? What did you dislike? Also, be sure to hit that notification bell to get notified for future videos, and be sure to hit up my website here, or you can hit the link in the description box below to get you a copy of my self-published book to help me out, fill my pockets, so that I can put out more books of different genres. It is a psychological thriller about a group of young adults in a psych ward who new counselor that's trying to help them get out of this psych ward, but he also has a secret agenda, and he learns that this place is experimenting on these kids, that he is connected to these kids sort of spiritual scientific way. This includes psychological thriller, horror, and sci-fi. So if you're interested, be sure to hit the link in the description box below, my email, so that we can discuss this book and I can help people with learning how to write. I'm thinking about making a Patreon and attach that email to that so I can teach creative writing to people. I have a degree in writing, so I'm really interested in helping people become their own self-published writers, self-published authors, and to give tips and tricks on how to do so and how to come up and brainstorm ideas. So if you're interested in that, definitely be sure to hit me up at my email so I can attach you to my email list. And I will see you all next time.